This is Concert Brass 2. This tutorial is all about the IntervaLive feature. But what is IntervaLive? Simply put, it's a feature that enables you to insert real intervals between notes just as they would sound in real live brass performances. IntervaLive is heard only when you play notes that overlap each other. This way, you can play phrases that would require separate notes where you would not want to hear the intervals, along with legato phrases where you would want to hear them. But we didn't just slap these intervals in. That wouldn't be flexible and wouldn't leave you with very many choices. And having IntervaLive play all the time on every interval might sound a bit odd. However, with TVEC 3, you can create your own custom settings to best suit the way you want to create. First, turn on IntervaLive by either playing C1 on your MIDI controller or clicking the IntervaLive C1 switch. This switch will remain lit while IntervaLive is on. Now, access the settings by choosing IntervaLive Settings from the Settings pull-down menu. You will see 12 switches and 2 knobs appear. The 12 switches represent all 12 possible interval sizes, whether up or down, from a half step all the way up to an octave or larger. With these, you can limit IntervaLive to a certain size of interval or larger. For instance, you may only want to hear the interval on large intervals where the performance leaps a great distance. In this case, you would choose to constrain IntervaLive to one of the larger intervals, such as a major sixth or larger. In this example, we'll choose a major sixth. This means that IntervaLive will only be heard when you play a major sixth or larger. Also, you may have noticed that a small green LED lights whenever IntervaLive is invoked. And like almost every feature in TVEC 3, you can automate each of these switches. Now, the 2 knobs. The first one, plus or minus volume. This knob simply controls the volume attenuation of the interval itself. You may have noticed that when you turn the interval volume all the way down, the second note in the interval has a lot of latency. This is because the note is intentionally leaving room for the inserted interval. So, that brings us to the next knob, interval space. Once you have found the interval volume that works for you, you will now want to play around with how much space there is for the inserted interval. Lowering the value all the way down creates almost no latency between the notes. And raising the value all the way up creates quite a bit of space between the notes. As you can see, some types of musical phrases could benefit from less space, probably faster passages, whereas other types would benefit with more, most likely slower passages. That's why these 2 knobs, like almost all features in TVEC 3, are fully automatable. Additionally, you can easily reset the factory settings by command-clicking the knob. When you are fully satisfied with your settings, click Done Settings.